I want to start with some good news today. We want to cover several different topics of interest to y'all. I don't know if you know this or not, but Mississippi has an annualized growth rate in the first 6 months of 4.6%, much better than the national average. Yep, you did it. Residential housing construction in August, up 10.3% in Mississippi, one of the leading ones in the country. All those people clapping out there on timber out in Mississippi, and they're trying to sell it for houses. Mississippi is one of 3 southern states, 3 out of 10, that is at pre-recession levels. We've recovered from the Great Recession. We're leading all the other southern states in the country on our efforts. Congratulations, everybody. That came from a lot of hard work. It came from management. Came from you as an employer, came from your elected officials. It came from individuals who are driving the economy, the real people that drive the economy in Mississippi. That's our working men and women. That's our employees. That's who drives Mississippi's economy, and that's who's driving this. We stand with an improving economy in Mississippi. We got a stable judiciary system after tort reform. Got business-friendly legislature and elected public officials who believe in job growth, just like you do. I want to talk about an example of one of those. One of them we passed this year, and I drafted it last year. It's called the SMART Bill, and y'all need to make use of it. The SMART Bill gives you an economic incentive from the state of Mississippi if you'll do your R&D research at a Mississippi university. You get a tax credit for that, and they're taking applications now at MDA. In 1970, 1/3 of the federal budget was allocated to mandatory spending. 2/3 were this discretionary spending. Today, the United States Congress has flipped that. 2/3 of every dollar spent at the federal government level are mandatory. 1/3 is discretionary. With that R&D, research and development, it fell by 50% from the federal government level. That challenges our universities, our students, our employers, the future leaders of this country by the fact that we won't be able to do that. In Mississippi, we'll likely experience revenues in excess of our budget this year, expenditures that will be on budget this year, will match our budgeted expenses, and will continue to live within our means in Mississippi. Unfortunately, irresponsibility permeates the federal government right now. While Mississippi's economy is positive, without budgetary control in the United States Congress, our state will increasingly, as all other states are now, will increasingly rely on our own talents, our own business, and our own citizens to prosper. You're seeing that across the country, and you're seeing it in Mississippi. Even our own state government will see the effects of health care. We've got more than 30 employees, and we do in the state, and you don't cover 95% of all your people, there's a penalty, $2,000 a person. In some instances, we'll pay a $2,000 a person penalty for people that we're already paying insurance for. In my little agency, $180,000. Each and every other agency will face the same thing. Obamacare is coming to us, and it's coming to you, and it's coming to the employees of the state of Mississippi. When we do this, you need to remember a few things. You know, sometimes the President of the United States can't remember when there are things going on overseas. He can't remember when the IRS won't approve your nonprofit status. He can't remember when the computers don't work. He can't remember a lot of things. One thing he did remember, and he was rock solid on. If you like your insurance policy, you can keep it. Oops. You're not going to be able to keep it. If you like your health care policy, you won't be able to keep it. If you like your doctor, when we go to this care system, you need to get pictures on your next visit because he may not be there again. And if you don't like Obamacare, don't talk about it on your cell phone, because they're listening on your cell phone. Over the next 10 years, the current budget proposal by President Obama will raise taxes on employees and businesses. They'll raise taxes by almost $1 trillion. During that same time, the budget of this country will be in a deficit over $5 trillion. That's $55,000 every household here. By the year 2020, we will spend more on interest than we spend on defense. Governor Bryan had a big seminar. 37,000 people in Mississippi work in the defense industry. 7 years from now, we'll spend more on interest than we do on defense. We spent $3.7 trillion last year on welfare. We've spent less than $1 trillion on education, transportation, and NASA combined. In contrast with the federal government, you need to look at your state government. For the 6th year in a row, I have decreased my budget. Every year since you hired me, I've decreased my budget to run the Secretary of State's office. It's less than $1 million a year more than what you gave me to start with. Thank you. I feel like you can spend that $1 million on a lot of other things, like employee raises. Again, this year, you'll see us participate in 50 pieces of legislation. You're going to like them all. They involve a lot of things: election reform, businesses reforms, trust laws, athlete agent bills. You'll see us heavily involved in the legislature again this year. And it's important. We've rewritten all of the business laws in Mississippi. We got the best business laws in the country for you to compete on. That's really important. When you hire a new employee, do your R&D, start a new job. We'll again promote the adoption of a headquarters bill. That's very important. When I did all the studies about what the gaps were for companies to come to Mississippi and put a headquarters here, I found out the one gap we had in Mississippi was encouraging and paying for their employees to come and make Mississippi home. We'll have that this year on the headquarters bill, and it'll apply to existing companies, so you can bring more people outside of the state of Mississippi to work here and prosper here and pay taxes here and be parts of our community. You'll also see something called a job pass-through. That's for your job credits. You can pass it through to your employees, a new and innovative way to raise employees and have them pay less taxes. Also this year, as you know, and I just got interviewed about this, they want to know about voter ID. Voter ID regulations have been finalized. They'll roll out this year. We spent a great deal of time on this. There'll be a free ID, there'll be free transportation, there'll be free verification of your birth certificate in 92 locations all across this country. All across Mississippi, 92 different counties will have this process. We spent a great deal of time on this, and we did it so that it'll pass the most important test, that you think it's fair to your fellow citizens to protect the integrity of the vote. And when you see what we've done, that's what you'll think. We've got some more good news, and I'll close on this and one other thing. Yesterday, you purchased 2,500 acres of the most pristine marshland in the country at the mouth of the Pearl River. Congratulations. When you fill out your financial statement, you own 1/3 of it. We just bought Cat Island 6 months ago. The state of Mississippi is committed to maintaining our culture and maintaining for our children and our grandchildren the same things we grew up with. And we bought all of that land, and we bought that island with private donations and federal grants. No state money. So you didn't even pay for your island and your 2,500 acres of pristine marshland. Congratulations, and we're happy to do it. Finally, I want to close. Thank you. And it's beautiful. Y'all need to go see your new property. Finally, I want to close on one thing. We've got an election coming up on June the 3rd, and I think I should address that. That's the election for the United States Congress and the next Mississippi United States Senator. And I want to make two statements about that. One, bring your ID. And the second, I'll be there. Thank y'all so much for having me today. I appreciate it.